Hi everyone, it's Maureen Hamblin. Um, Sorry, just trying to get comfortable. I wanted to do another video on marriage just because I've had a lot of responses and I just feel like there's just so much we could talk about when it comes to marriage. Uh, So I just wanted to share a few pointers from a book I read while actually I was going through such a difficult time. It's not a book about marriage. Sorry, the cover is gone. It's called Practical Psychology for Pastors. It's written by William Miller and Kathleen Jackson at the University of New Mexico. But I read this book for a class called Pastoral Counseling, and page 367. Anyway, so it was on relationship counseling, and so I was doing my homework when I realized that my relationship was dying, and I kind of had to be like, um, and I cried a lot. For those who know me, I'm a crier. I am not ashamed. I love a good cry. So yeah, just open my mind and my eyes, and basically they go through 6 characteristics of a good relationship. The first one is that the individuals in the relationship have to be autonomous, which basically means that they're kind of independent, differentiated people who kind of know who they are, what they're about, what their values are before they even get married or come together. They know who they are. They've differentiated. They know what their value is, and all that kind of stuff. So I must say, getting married, I did not know who I really was, and I'll do a video on that another time, but I've just been finding myself actually in the last 5 years, and especially in the last three to 4 years, I've really kind of come into myself and into the person that I really am. So characteristics of a good relationship is that both people are autonomous, differentiated, they know who they are. So clearly, my relationship, although we had some really great moments, wasn't like very good in the sense that I didn't quite know who I was. But that's all changing now. Hallelujah. And then point number 2 is that the relationship, the people in the relationship have to choose to be in the relationship. So if there's one person that has been coerced into being in a relationship, it is not a good relationship. Hence, child brides, relationship where women are forced to marry someone, they are not good good relationships. Point number 3 is that these two people share their inner world with each other, and they raise a really good point. So they say that it's not, so a lot of people think that if you're gonna share your innermost thoughts or whatever, it has to be about your past, and they see that as a true sign of intimacy, but it's actually not. Sharing your present, your troubles, your problems, whatever thoughts you have at the moment, whatever's bothering you right now, is actually more intimate than sharing your past, because when you share your now, it affects your partner, and they're gonna react to that. So you being able to share what's going on right now, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, is actually a deeper sign of intimacy than sharing what you did 5 years ago, or I don't know, however long ago. Thought that was actually pretty good, and I think I've been doing good at that. I overshare with Tim, and sometimes he's just like, really, like, stop. So but it's a good thing, and then the other point is that these two people are committed to the growth and happiness of the other. committed, not just kind of like, oh, you go do whatever. Like, you're both committed, you're helping each other out, you're supporting each other. And I must say, Tim coming to America for me was a big thing. It was showing his commitment to my growth, my development, to what I was feeling God was leading me to do. And I have so much respect for him for that, and so much love for him for that. Another thing is that, yeah, yeah, and then right now, moving back home, I moved back to Ireland for Tim, also for God, definitely for God, because we felt God was telling us to move back here, but also Tim was just like, I'm done with America. I had a job offer over there, I've mentioned this before, and what you call it, he would have had to kind of be the stay-at-home person, because it's so much harder to get a work visa, and you have to get sponsored and whatever. So that was part of me being like, okay, I don't want him to suffer. He's miserable already. He was not loving it. And so imagine if I was the one like working, he's just staying at home, not using his IT skills. He would have just been miserable. So that's one thing I must say that Tim and I have done well, even when we were, even when even when we were struggling, even when we've had difficult moments. The other one is open to change. Each person, each individual in the relationship has to be open to change. And yeah, so this one's a big one, and actually I was just talking to Tim before doing this video, and he was saying that this is where he lacks the most, because they were saying that, you know, to communicate change, to communicate that you want change, or that your partner needs to kind of meet you halfway, you need to be able to communicate that positively and not in a coercive way, or a lot of people just kind of tend to kind of just be quiet and just hope that change comes. So he was saying that that's where he really struggles, and I struggle with this one as well, but not because I cannot verbalize it, because I'm pretty good at verbalizing what I feel, but more so in the sense that I might try to coerce Tim to do stuff, just because I'm like, you need to read your Bible more, and I try to force him into it, or it's mad. You know, like lots of exercising, that's a big one. So now that I've started really exercising, I'm like, Tim, go to the gym, Tim, and I'll start nice sleep, and then I just go crazy. So yeah, so this is an area where we are hoping that in 2020 we're gonna learn, we're gonna grow. And last but not least in this list of characteristics of a good relationship is that both people are committed. I must say Tim is better at this in terms of, even when we were dating, he was always like, this is it, you're the one. He knew for sure. And was just like committed. I've always had this. I think I never quite believed that the marriage was for forever, until quite recently. So I'm being quite vulnerable here. Because I just feel like I need to say it. I don't know why. Maybe I watch too many movies, or maybe too many soap operas, too much Neighbors and EastEnders and whatever else was out there when I was a teenager. I don't know. I just secretly didn't believe that marriage was for forever. I knew what the Bible said. I knew that when you say for better, for worse, till death do us part, like, it's forever. But I've always had this idea also that if marriage is not working out, if the person is not being what I expect them to be, then bye-bye. You know, obviously right here I'm not advocating for abuse in any way. I do believe that if Tim abused me, I am leaving. If I abuse him, he better leave. So I'm not advocating for that, but I do believe that commitment in our age, in our day and age, you know, a lot of people don't take it as serious. as it really should be, and they've no problem kind of going in and out of relationships. And that is something that, you know, kind of struggled with mentally, but I've always been very good at obedience. So because of God and because of His word, I've kind of been like, okay, you know, we're gonna make this work. But I cannot tell you that I have had moments where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna leave, and it's okay if I never remarry again. But the good news is I'm still here, still working at it, and I want you to do the same. Unless he's abusive or she's abusive, you got to go. Okay, so characteristics of a good relationship: autonomous. You know who you are, you know your values, your worth, you know all of that before you've even come into this relationship. But there is hope. Even if you don't know who you are, you can still find yourself. And that's the great thing about God. He will help you find yourself while you're still in your marriage. You choose to be in that relationship. You're not forced, you're not coerced. If you do find yourself in one of those relationships, leave. You know, get help. You're committed to the growth and happiness of the other. You're open to change. You share your inner world, and this is in right now, not necessarily about the past. You know, sharing your worries, your fears, whatever, right now in this moment, and then you're committed to one another. You're committed to making it work. Yeah, so I wanted to share that, and I'm gonna do another video on a dying relationship, probably immediately after this.